Hi guys, this is Catherine Kelly. For my case study, I decided to do Buckhannon River, which is within the Tigard Valley watershed. And on the left you have a picture of Buckhannon River, and on the right is a picture of Audra State Park. The watershed has about 1,374 square miles of drainage area, which drains into multiple counties in West Virginia. Buckhannon River is located in Upshur County, but the watershed as a whole is located in Pocahontas, Randolph, Webster, Upshur, Lewis, Barber, Tucker, and a couple other counties. This area is mainly used for recreation, and about 30,000 acres of land is national and state forest. So you have the Tigard Lake State Park, Audra State Park, and Valley Falls State Park. And the national forest encompasses about 23,000 acres. And for recreation, you have activities like hiking, hunting, fishing, and camping, and other outdoor activities. And here on the left, you can see where Buckhannon is actually located, the river in the watershed. And these little red dots, like here, these are old abandoned mining sites, and you can see that they're all over the watershed. They're generally in the same area, but they're throughout the whole watershed, which gives impairments to not just one part or one river. It's distributed throughout the whole watershed. Your designated uses for the land are agriculture and wildlife, public water supplies, warm water fisheries, water contact recreation, and water supply industrial, water transport, cooling, and power. A lot of the land in the watershed is abandoned mine areas, which is one of the main sources of the impairments along the watershed. Buckhannon River was listed on the 303D list due to the fecal chloroform and iron contaminations throughout just the whole watershed, not just Buckhannon River. And the impaired segment for Buckhannon River is about 16.74 miles long, which is basically the entire length. Impairments can be due to straight pipes, human activities with recreation, and urbanized areas like roads, houses, public uses. Here you have the TMDL data for the whole watershed. You have your iron and fecal chloroform for daily and annual. And for your iron, it's measured by pounds per day or pounds per year, and fecal chloroform's counts per day or counts per year. And that's measured in the baseline load allocations, waste load allocations, MOS, and calculated TMDL. Your base load allocations are your current levels of your watershed. Load allocations are your non-point sources. Waste load allocations are your point sources, and your MOS is 5% of your TMDL buffer. The first objective to create the TMDL was to determine the spatial pH distribution along the main stem of the Buckhannon River. The second was to identify sections of the river where potential pH violations might occur due to the influx of acidity. And then lastly, they wanted to recalculate the acidity and alkalinity loadings under various inflow scenarios and to define the allowable load to meet the pH standard of each section of the Buckhannon River. And all three of these steps were used in the creation of the TMDL for the watershed. The TMDL recommendation can be achieved through restoration or remining of abandoned areas and continued diversion and storage of runoff from reclaimed areas, identifying potential seeps, and eventually control through the reforestation and passive treatments that they are trying to do in the state, national lands, and even private and public lands. The health of the watershed was determined healthy as of May 2019. Contaminants and bacteria in the watershed are tested regularly, and the whiskey score is 73.53 for Buckhannon River specifically. A score below 68 is considered to be impaired, and a score between 68 to 78 is kind of a gray area, and anything above 78 is considered healthy. In biological data, it takes the benthic microinvertebrate samples that are preserved, and they were actually delivered to the biological sciences at Marshall, and fish specimens inadvertently collected during the macroinvertebrate sampling were transferred to the West Virginia Department of Natural Resources in Elkins. The NPDES permits and within the watershed, there are quite a few of them. You have 10 individual permitted POTW discharges treated at 10 outlets, which are Buckhannon, Grafton, Elkins, Philippi, Newburgh, Bellington, Colfax, Junior, Huntinsville, and Beverly. You have 3 permitted stormwater discharges from wastewater treatment facilities, with 2 outlets being in Buckhannon and 1 outlet in Elkins. There are 9 mining bathing houses permits discharged to the TM Dale streams with 9 outlets, and this is due to largely the large part of the area being old abandoned mining areas, which could be limestone, coal, and just other mining. Here you have the major contaminants and their monitoring regimen. You can see the City of Buckhannon water supply does daily and monthly tests, while the West Virginia DEP monitors it weekly or within single sweeps.